stop. They knocked out more than 100 people already since they arrived.
Yeah, well, you see, they're a warlike nation. They know how to deal with that, and they know how to, and they live among people that are Bedouins, that are tent dwellers. So you look at the different cultures. It's very interesting. You know, you have a lot of different nations. Someone said to me, they were naming all the doctors from the different nations. They says, how come there's not too many doctors there from America? I says, there's no health care. You know, how many things do we do? And not to take away from those that do, but how many of us, you know, we're almost losing a culture of volunteerism. You know, where people are looking to really get paid instead of service, understand the value of that. And of course there are those that are, you know, that are a part of our culture that does it, but there's some cultures that lend more to that than others. Not being critical, just making an observation. So I just want to say, when we get ready to deal with the 10,000 hours, it's going to be amazing. When I look at this young man, Anjay, you're how old? He's 8 years old. What would he be like at 18 if he keeps sitting on camera number 2? And if he had that experience 3 hours a day, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 times a week, you know, what would he be like at the time he's 25 with a camera? The electronic drummer that he talked about with the electrical drums. What's going to happen when the first electronic drummer hits 10,000 hours? We can't respect the electronic drums compared to the but what happens? Does this mean that there's a new sound of music that's getting ready to be birthed right before our eyes? That music is changing. What happens in and this is something else that's interesting, because we're in an age where technology is meant for the young. What happens to the person that start to hit 10,000 hours in computers? What does it do? Does it start upgrading the level of mastery to start? And when I was with my sensei, I'm going to be doing a whole thing there with sensei. I'm be interviewing my sensei for this book as well, because it's when we became black belts, he says, now you can start to learn martial arts. I said, what were we doing all these years? He says, you were in preparation. The black belt, at the black belt is when you start to learn the martial arts. So I want to show that it's not until you hit 10,000 hours is when you start to prophesy. Now you're ready for us to teach you how to prophesy. What were we doing all before? You were babbling. And I am wondering that the prophetic definitely must have levels and degrees because of the number of hours that one gives themselves in. So when we are here, we are putting a lot of hours here in the prophetic, and there are room for more hours. Prophet Deborah, can we use more people to prophesy on the CDs?
Yes, Master Prophet, most definitely. We do need more prophets to put in their hours to begin to move towards being just a practitioner and to moving into mastery, knowing who they are. So yes.
Amen. I was looking at I was doing some reading in this area, and Prophet Kelly, you may find this interesting. It was a violin class, it was a music class, and they took the students, and it says, how many of the students practice 1 hour a day? The students put their hands up. So how many of you practice 2 hours a day? They put their hands up. And the ones practice 3 hours a day. In the class, and this was, the students was under 10 years of age, they started separating. They separated the students that practiced 3 hours a day, put them over here, the one that practiced 2 hours a day, the one that practiced 1 hour a day. And they asked them, why did they separate them? They says, because they knew that this group that was gung-ho, that loved practicing, 3 hours a day, they know they would be the one that would be on the world stage. The one that practiced 2 hours a day, they know that they may be playing in some productions, maybe some plays, and the one that practiced 1 hour a day, they would probably be maybe school teachers that would teach violin, but they would never make it as a national or international name, because they were able to calculate at what age they would hit the world stage with the diligence. What do you think about that? Isn't that amazing?
I believe that. Yeah, I absolutely believe that.
So they would take them and separate them into how many hours that person would, take to do, the things that they were, to get towards their hours. So, Prophet Deborah, I know you've been prophesying since you've been 12, but you've probably been doing more prophesying now than you've ever done before in your life, huh?
Most definitely, Master Prophet, prophesying. I think we prophesy 6 days a week.
Yeah.
At least 6 days a week we are prophesying.
6 days a week at least.
Probably
About
anywhere from
5
5 hours.
About 5 hours a
Yeah.
day
Dealing with the conference call, yeah.
and everything. 30 hours a week. Okay. That probably bring us to a good, and I really think we probably do more than 40 hours a week in prophecy. What you think, Prophet Kelly?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would definitely think so.
Because there's some mornings that y'all are doing from 6:30 in the morning.
Yes, we can go from 6:30, we can put 9:30 to about 9:30. I think the longest I've gone is about 9:45 on a 6:30 call. But we can go, yes.
And it just goes from one, because you do the 6:30 call, and then you come back in and do
10 o'clock,
10 o'clock.
yeah, and that
And
can,
then you come back, and the 10 o'clock will probably be about 12,
about
1.
12. The longest I've gone there is about 12:45.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you come back in at 3
At
o'clock.
3. And the longest I've gone there, I've gone about 6:20 there. So it can be quite extensive.
And then if you have, what day you have, Tuesday?
I have Tuesday and Thursday.
So then you have to, and then after that Tuesday, you have to run for streaming.
Right, I'm coming over for streaming.
At
or
6
I'm
o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, and we're there
Until 12, 1.
Until. Or if not, then I'm in the presbytery room, and we're there until 1, or
Yeah.
until.
We probably should write this in the book. Anthony Blackman make a great statement. I should get y'all to help me write the book. Well, y'all are. Tyler Perry put in the hours to get to where he's today. And that's interesting. How many hours did he have to perform on the stage as Medea before Medea? I bet you Medea did not become an international character until 10,000 hours. And I want to also support, but what about a person like, any person that makes a national stage that might be said, Master Prophet, this person is 10 years old, they didn't have those type of hours, they made a national stage. I think what we need to ask, if they make the national stage, do they last? Or do they do just a one-hit wonder? Because, see, mastery has a sustained life, where a practitioner is just for a moment and gone the next moment.
It's good that you would even bring that to life, because when we think of the famous birthday song, what's his name? Blind Stevie Wonder. Although he hit the national stage early, he kept to the rudiments that developed him over the long haul. So he definitely worked towards that. But there's some you heard of, you never heard of them again.
Yeah. They didn't maintain the practice. They didn't maintain their craft. And if you're going to prophesy, you have to love prophecy. If you find a person that's a musician, they love playing. You find a teacher, they don't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I hate teaching today." They say they're teaching. No, they love teaching. You love what it is that you're given to do. Okay, 212-316-2177. When we come back, I'm going to get the link. Let me see, can I get the link for today's lesson? And let me give you the link for today's lesson. And I hope y'all been enjoying this lesson in the